Heya, cryptozens. Tonight's stories: Bitcoin hash rate, Grayscale's potential lawsuit, Stripe connects crypto and Twitter. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time. The date is April 24th, 2022. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. I'm your host, Nick. The cover model for this podcast is Tex, and together we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. We're here to bring you the crypto news analysis you need to start your day. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. So this happened. We mentioned it last night, but we didn't really talk about it. We were talking about the New York State's anti-crypto bill, and I mentioned that the Bitcoin hash rate hit an new all-time high. They hit 271.19 exahash per second yesterday. This was at block height 733.197. Now, right now, the hash rate is hit a cruising rate of 233.81 exahash in anticipation of a network difficulty coming in 3 days. It's going to change on the 27th. Now, I bring up the difficulty because at block height 731.808, there was a downward difficulty adjustment that saw the difficulty drop by 1.26%. Now, if you take that drop into consideration and add that with the nice cruising rate that we're sitting at, you can count on the difficulty going up. We expect it to go up by as much as 3.2%. Now, if that were to happen, then Bitcoin's network difficulty goes from 28.23 trillion to a lifetime high of 29.13 trillion. Now, the reward for that difficulty: every 10 minutes another block is printed. That means every 10 minutes someone is given the block subsidy reward. Right now, that reward is 6.25 Bitcoin. So every 10 minutes, someone's earning just shy of $250,000. Foundry USA is in the lead on that. Their 47.89 hexahash per second is good enough to get them 106 out of the past 470 block rewards, 22.55%. Second place was Binance Pool with 12.98%. So, why do we care about this? The greater the hash rate is, a number of things are agreed to be true. It shows greater confidence in Bitcoin. It increases the security of the network, and it strengthens the whole consensus system. So while you might not care about the exact number, the changing hash rate can be an important signal. If the hash rate is going up, if difficulty is going up, that's considered to be a good sign for Bitcoin. That means more miners are coming on board, more people are trying to convert electricity into money. If hash rate is going down, that's bad. Same as everything else in crypto. Now, let's take a quick look at the markets. They're not looking great today. Here are the numbers. At the time of writing, the global crypto market cap is $1.84 trillion. It's down 0.95% since yesterday. The top 5 cryptos by market cap are Bitcoin down 0.35%, Ethereum down 0.52%, Tether, Binance Coin down 0.99%, and USDC. The global NFT market cap is up over $10.4 billion. According to CoinMarketCap.com, the top 5 NFT collections by sales volume are Mutant Ape Yacht Club, followed by Moonbirds, Bored Apes, Bored Ape Kennel Club, and Age of Gods. Now keep in mind, some of these collections have very volatile prices, so it's important that you do your own research. Grayscale's potential lawsuit. So, Grayscale's lawyers are saying it's entirely possible that the Securities Exchange Commission could find themselves on the other side of a lawsuit if its exchange-traded fund, or ETF, application is rejected. Grayscale doesn't feel the SEC has been treating them fairly. That is, if their application for a spot ETF is rejected. They're planning on upgrading this year. They put in their application to change the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into an ETF. not only an ETF, but they want their Bitcoin trust converted into a spot ETF, not futures, which, as we all know, is an issue. The SEC has never approved a spot ETF, not for Bitcoin. Every time the subject comes up, and every time they have to turn someone down, they cite concerns about market manipulation among exchanges that facilitate the trade of spot Bitcoin. Their position has always been that there isn't enough consumer protection built into a spot ETF. So, now the SEC is supposed to make their decision on Grayscale's application this summer. Michael Shaughnessy, Grayscale's CEO, has said that all options, including legal action, are on the table to get its spot Bitcoin ETF launched. In November of 2021, a letter was sent from Grayscale to the SEC, and it was sent because the SEC approved a completely different ETF, and a futures ETF at that. Dated April 18th, it was sent by Grayscale's legal counsel, David Polk and Wardwell. And in this letter, they note the SEC's approval of the Teucrium Bitcoin Futures Fund. And they're using the approval of that futures fund as justification in demanding approval of their spot fund. Here's what they say, quote, "We believe the Teucrium order confirms the fundamental point in our November 29th, 2021 letter in support of the above referenced proposal. When it comes to approving ETPs, there's no basis for treating spot Bitcoin products differently from Bitcoin futures products." So, why is this important? Well, the fact that the Teucrium Fund was approved of is interesting. It was approved under the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, and that is a completely different process and approval from the Investment Act of 1940. And it's the 40s Act that the other ETFs have applied for, both spot and futures. That said, they approved the futures and denied the spots. So, the fact that this ETF was approved under the 34 Act is all but precedent setting. This is true because the 34 Act is the same act that Grayscale wants to launch their spot Bitcoin ETF under. So, that means the SEC can't do what it's been doing. It's been using the distinctions in the 40s Act as a reason for denying their application. From their letter, quote, "The Teucrium order confirms the 1940 Act registration is not a basis for the Commission to approve one product and reject the other." So what Grayscale is saying here is that if the SEC approves a futures-based ETF under the 34 Act and won't approve a spot ETF under the 34 Act, then it's acting in an arbitrary and capricious manner. They also say that spot-based ETFs aren't necessarily more exposed to risk. They're not necessarily more risky than a futures-based one. They say this is true because the pricing data for futures ETFs come from a compilation of the price on spot exchanges. They say, quote, "Because both spot and futures-based Bitcoin products face exposure to the same underlying Bitcoin market, and any fraud or manipulation in the underlying market will affect both products in the same way. The existence of these risks therefore cannot serve as justification for denying approval to one product once approval for the other product has been granted." So, there you go. Personally, I'm still a little surprised that they approved of the Teucrium product under the 34 Act at all. Was that as a result of judicious application of the law? Was it a mistake that they couldn't fix once they realized it had been made? Or maybe it's a sign that the SEC is evolving their position on cryptocurrency exchanges and cryptocurrency overall. Maybe, just maybe, it's a sign of improved relations to come. Stripe connects crypto and Twitter. And I'll be a little honest. I'm surprised it was Stripe at all. Not Strike, not Block. But okay. And it's coming by way of Polygon, not Bitcoin or the Lightning Network, which is also interesting. So here's what it is. If you are one of a select group of creators on Twitter, and I am not, you can start getting USDC earnings sent right to your wallet. Twitter and Stripe announced that they would be rolling out crypto payments for Stripe Connect. John Carlson is CEO of Stripe. He announced in a tweet, quote, "Businesses can now use Stripe to send crypto payments. We're excited to power Twitter as our first partner, enabling their creators around the world to get paid in USDC. More to come. We're adding the support for other currencies and rails." Karen Sharma is Stripe's crypto product manager. According to him, this product is aimed at, quote, "creators, freelancers, sellers, and solopreneurs." In a blog post, he said this means, quote, "it's easier than ever to find customers and fans. Getting paid can still be difficult, especially outside of major markets." So, right now, Stripe's Connect product services more than 70 countries' currencies by providing programmatic payouts. This currently doesn't work in other countries because of the complexity involved with adding local payment capabilities. Even so, their intent is to reach 120 countries by year's end. Sharma said, quote, "Unfortunately, this makes participation in the online economy even harder for many of those who stand to benefit the most. We're excited about what this represents and about the potential for cryptocurrencies to help solve real-world problems, especially outside of major markets." So, Twitter is already partially hooked up. They're already using Stripe Connect to pay content creators as payment in their Ticket Spaces and Super Followers programs. On top of that, Twitter already has a tipping feature. They're using Stripe, not Stripe, for that. This allows people to tip content creators, but not in stablecoin, in Bitcoin. But that was also in the Jack Dorsey days. He only likes Bitcoin. So when he was running Twitter, integrating Ethereum or something like that wasn't really on his agenda. But this is built on Ethereum. And we know Ethereum is going to be slow and expensive to use. That's where Polygon comes in. Polygon is an Ethereum-based Layer 2 solution. It processes transactions, including smart contracts on Ethereum, while sending bundles of processed transaction data to be written into the Ethereum blockchain. Polygon's whole purpose in life is to make Ethereum transactions faster and more efficient. And by setting this up to run on Ethereum, a lot more coins can be accommodated. Many cryptocurrencies are built on Ethereum Standard or Ethereum-compatible tokens. And in the middle of all this, don't forget, Twitter is currently the hostile takeover target of Elon Musk. Elon has his own preferred cryptocurrency, Dogecoin. He's already talked about being able to pay for Twitter Blue in Dogecoin. So maybe this means that if Elon is successful in his takeover bid, they would be adding Doge as a third tipping method in Twitter. And that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed tonight's show, please like, comment, subscribe, and give us a review. Do you have questions or comments? Reach out by email. The address is nick@cryptoovernighter.com. That's nick@cryptoovernighter.com. And check out my other podcast, Crypto in 5 Minutes. We have 41 educational podcasts, 5 minutes to explain one concept in crypto. And as always, may peace reign.